Hi guys, I hope you're all well. Thanks for having me. Right, hopefully it's going to let me tag you. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tag as many of you as I physically can, as Facebook will let me, because sometimes it doesn't let you tag everybody, does it? Hi guys, hope you're all good. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Let me just tag everybody that's in here. And then hopefully we'll get a nice little turnout, because then everyone will get a little notification to catch it back as well, which is great. So there's a few names I recognise. Right, okay, so let me tag probably about 30 of you, I think. Okay, so hi, I hope we're all good. Before I get started, first of all, I just want to, it is Artie's bedtime and Mike has started bath, and I can't guarantee that you're not going to hear him kicking and screaming and having an absolute meltdown in the background. So if you do hear that, we're not killing our child. And also, I have had COVID. I am literally on day 12, I think I'm on now. And I'm still quite poorly. I'm full of cold and got a cough, so if I start having a little coughing fit halfway through, I do apologise. But anyway, okay, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Lisa Allwood and I am the Superstar Director of Team Scent Squad. I have been with Scentsy for 4 years. It was 4 years in December. I've been an SSD for just over 2.5 years. And, well, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. I'm not going to talk to you too much about my journey as a Scentsy consultant, because I think my story's pretty out there. And if you haven't heard my story, I've definitely told it on the Inspiration Station or at some point in the United We Rise group, so feel free to check it out. I want to actually really spend the time that I've got with you tonight to talk about growing your customer base and how you can turn those brand new customers into teamies and how you can prospect those people. Do I think it's something I'm good at? Okay, I thought it was something I was quite good at for a while, but definitely things are becoming harder and definitely things are changing. And the way of our business is definitely changing, and I'm having to find new systems all of the time. I think when you get to an SSD, you get to a point where suddenly you've sponsored all your friends, all your family, all the people that you know, and suddenly you've got to grow again. And there might be lots of you that are in here right now that you're thinking, do you know what? I've done that, or I've asked every single friend, every single family member, I've asked everybody that I know, all my customers, and none of them are saying yes. None of them are biting. None of them want to become teamies. So it's now time to grow that customer base again, to start again. So let me tell a little bit about my team. My personal team that I've recruited, I think I've got about 85 frontline at the moment. They're not all working, so that number sounds huge, but it means I've had 85 people say yes to me at some point, whether it's been that they've signed up completely on a whim, whether that's they've become a customer and joined, whether they joined me right from the very beginning. I've got a few that are still my hardcore people that joined me right at the very start. So I do have lots of tools in my belt to get people to say yes. And I'm going to talk to you about that. But more importantly, before we talk about recruiting, I'm going to talk about how to actually physically grow your customer base. As Steph said, that was something that really could be something that you really, really need. And this is something where I'm putting a lot of focus and a lot of time at the moment into growing your customer base. Now, I want you to think of Scentsy like a bit of a circle. So to basically recruit more teamies, you need to have more customers, and to, it literally is as simple as that. So most of your teamies will come from customers. And when if any of you have got, say, a team of, 5 or 6, if you was to look at those 5 or 6 people that you've recruited, how many of them were customers? How many of them were people that joined completely off on a whim? My percentages is probably 90% of my team were customers before they started, and 10% of my team were, people that maybe signed up on your website, or maybe I'd run a sponsored ad and they decided to sign up, or were just somebody that on the off chance I went, you should be really good at selling Scentsy, and they signed up. It doesn't happen very often, okay? I would love to say that my website is literally having people joining every single day, but it just doesn't happen like that for me. And I have to really work and have to grow my customer base first in order to build those relationships, for them to build that trust, and then hopefully they will sign up as a teamie. So you need to be continually growing your customer base. I am never comfortable with the amount of customers that I've got. My aim every single month for me personally is I set myself a target of 2,500 PRV. No matter what, that is my target, and that's grown. So when I very first started selling Scentsy, I didn't really know about targeting myself, and I was like, oh, just going to sell as much as I could. I think probably in my first couple of months, I was selling well over 500 PRV, and I was setting that as a goal. Because for me, I think that your team, as I said before, your teamies will come from that growth in customer base. So if you have 2,000 PRV worth of sales, it means that you're servicing lots and lots of people. If your sales are 200 PRV, you're servicing a much smaller customer base. So therefore, you've got a lot less people to ask. So the bigger you can grow that customer base, the more people you can ask to physically join your team. The more people that you've got watching you, the more people that you've got interested in the product that you're selling. So this is really your starting point. Before you think about, I want to go and, recruit all the people, first of all, work on that growth of the customer base. And then what you want to do is set your mindset to become every single customer I am thinking about as a teamie. I want every single person that I sell Scentsy to, at some point, I would like them to say yes. And I'm hoping that one day they will become a teamie at some point in their Scentsy journey. Now, some of my team who started as customers bought once or twice, and then I asked them to join and they signed up straight away. So, for example, I can think of one of my directors. She watched me unbox a load of goodies, including her order. She'd ordered twice. And in that time, she watched me unbox all these goodies. And then she rang me as I got off the live and said to me, how do I join so that I can get all those freebies? And I was like, okay, brilliant. She was somebody that was quite an easy sign up. Okay. Then I've got somebody like my sister-in-law. So my sister-in-law is also an SSD. I will just say as well, we live 10 minutes away from one another. And I like to tell people that because there's 5 SSDs, myself, Laura Sawkins, Laura Bynes, Claire Watson and Tanya Allwood. We're all under Laura, and we all live within a 10-mile radius of each other, a 10-minute radius of each other. And I think that's really important for people to hear, because there's a lot of people that say, oh, I can't grow my customer base because the market's saturated. And we're like, no, it's really, really not. It's really, really not. It's about your mindset. So my sister-in-law, we went, when I very first started selling Scentsy, I remember I signed up and I was talking about the product, and I was like, you should come and do this. She can sell ice to the Eskimos, and I'm not joking. If there was going to be, if she needed to sell a trampoline, she could sell her trampoline. If she could sell her, I don't know, all of her kids' clothes and put them all on Facebook. We call her Del Boy because she was, or Del Girl, we actually call her. She was so good at selling. Yeah, it took her nearly 7 months to sign up to be a Scentsy consultant. Took her 7 months of me asking her, like, every time I see her, once a week, you should sign up. No, not interested. You should sign up. No, not interested. I think she spent well over £1,000 on Scentsy before she signed up. So some people are going to be someone that they might be a customer for 5 minutes, and some people, they're going to be a customer that could be a customer for 6 months to a year to 2 years. At some point, they will say yes, but it's just when are they going to say yes within their customer journey with you. So what I do to find new customers, because sometimes you can feel like you've asked everybody. You feel like you've asked every single customer and you're like, right, I've asked them all. What do I now do? Because I've had all of those conversations. I've asked all of my customers and, they're not interested. Where do I go next? And it's about growing that customer base a little bit further. So these are just some of the things that I do. And I've built these they're like systems. And I make sure that every single week, these are things that I do to make sure that I'm building my customer base. So this month alone, I think I've already had something like 6 new customers. And the reason I want that high, revolution of customers coming in is so that I'm not relying on the same customers to order all of the time. And again, because eventually, hopefully, some of them are going to become team members. So the first thing I would recommend is that you have a referral system set up of some description. Now, I am in the process of redoing my referral system, but I've got some little cards. I probably should have grabbed one, but I haven't been down to my office and they're in my office. I've got a little card and it goes in every single order. And it basically says something along the lines of, this is my referral system. If you refer a friend to me and they order, you will receive a free wax bar from me. If you refer a friend and they book a party or they place an order over, I think I put it over like £250. So it was like basically a party order. You will receive £24 free credit and a half price item of your choice out of the catalogue. And then the last one is if you refer a team member to me and somebody signs up and places their first order, you will receive £30 in free credit from me or a warmer of your choice. Now, I know that I can use my own credit to be able to allow somebody to give them that as a gift for referring a friend or referring somebody to sign up. And it works. I think referral systems are literally the best possible way for you to grow your customer base. And if you don't have one, then start thinking about what you could do, what you could give back to your customers. Remember, I'm in a different position to where some of you guys are. I've been selling Scentsy for 4 years. I have regular parties open with lots of orders, minimum PRV of 2,000 PRV, which means I've got a lot of credit to play with every single month. So I can give away quite a lot. I would recommend if you're brand new to Scentsy or, you don't have, huge orders that are going in, think about what you could give away that would entice people to find a customer for you that will work for you. So something that's really good, I've seen another director do this before. She does, for every order, if you refer somebody and they order, say their order comes to £120, for example, you would get 10% free credit based on their order. So all you're then giving away is the credit that's actually going to be attached to the party that they've earned. Now, it might well be you've got to wait until that party goes over £245 to be able to do it. But you're basically just giving back the 10% credit. So, if they ordered and the order comes to £50, you're giving them a £5. So you can make that work for you. Or you could do like samples and make some really pretty sample packs up that you would then send out as a thank you with a thank you card in it. Maybe, if you've got a load of wax that you've got free, use that. Use something that you've got at home. If you've used your credit before and you've got some laundry stuff that you don't particularly like, or maybe you've got a bath soak that you're like, oh, actually use that and I'm not keen on it. Make a really good size sample, send that to them. There's lots of things that you can do that you don't necessarily need to give away all the good stuff. So make a system that works for you and make the system to work for something that will entice your customers in. So that's something that I do all of the time. That goes out in every single order and I make it part of my closing statement. So there's 2 questions I always ask people, especially brand new customers, when they first join with and they first order with me. 2 things that I ask them. Number 1 is I ask them to refer somebody. So as I'm taking their order, they might say, right, Lisa, I want to order 6 bars of wax. And I go, okay, no worries. And they give me their order. And I say, right, on my order form, I just need to ask you 2 questions. The first question is if you've ever considered becoming a Scentsy consultant. Now, I'm not filling in an order form that's got that box because we know it's not on that box, but they don't know that. So, and they might say, oh, I've never really thought about joining before. Or, I thought about it, but not right now. So you would write their name down. We're going to make a note of them. Or they would say, no, it's not for me, but thanks very much. Okay, question number 2 is there anybody you think you would like to refer to, have some free samples or to join my group? Because if you refer somebody and they order, you get a free bar of wax. And that's just part of my closing statement now. Even whether somebody's ordered from me, 20 times, or if it's the first time ordering, that's part of my closing statement for them. So you're making sure that you're just asking everybody, do you want to refer somebody? Or, have you ever considered joining? 2 really simple questions that you can just build into your order process. And that's a system. And it's once you start doing it regularly, I know the first time you might feel a little bit like, oh, I don't want to ask them. Do I want to ask them to join? But you're not technically asking them to join. You're asking them because the order form that the fake order form that you're looking at says, oh, my order form's asking, would you like to join? So make sure you start building that into your, questions with your customer base. Right, something that's working really, really well. Hi, Diane. Hi, Nikki. Something that's working really well for me at the moment is borrow bag parties. And this is bringing me in lots of new customers, okay? And then this, hopefully, in turn, will bring me in new teamies. So let me talk to you about my borrow bag. What I probably should have done. Have I got one in the house? I think I took it down to my office. So my borrow bag, I will pop a picture up so that you can see what it looks like. These are literally winning for me right now. I built my whole business on parties. So when I first joined Scentsy, I was partying 3, 4, 5 times a week, and I was taking my kit to people's houses, literally setting all my kit up, and I would meet 8 new customers at a time, or more or less, depending on how many people came. And I would always ask someone to join my team on the evening, normally the host. It was easy to do pre-lockdown because everybody wanted to have parties, and people, I don't know about you guys, but people are just not as interested about partying at the moment. I'm just not finding as many people that are excited to party, which is fine. So I've pivoted my business and I've been doing really special, simple borrow bags. So I bought these clear bags. I don't think I've even got anything up here to show you. They're like a clear tote bag that have got a handle. And I will, as I say, I will put a picture. In there, I had my full bag of scents, 5 catalogues, 5 order forms, and then I've got another clear little makeup bag that I got off of Amazon, and it's got a wall fan diffuser and a packet of pods in. And I put that all in the bag, and this is going out mainly at the moment to existing customers. So existing customers said to me, here's all the warmers I really love. I want them all, but I can't afford them all right now. Not a problem, Claire. I'm going to give you my borrow bag. Claire was like, okay, brilliant. If you follow me on Instagram, you can actually go and check my stories. She's put a picture of it on there today. So gave her my borrow bag, and I said to her, what you're going to do is just share that with all your friends and family. I'm going to create you a customer shopping link, or a referral link, a party link, whatever you want to call it. Joanne Davidson said to call them customer rewards links, and I really like that. So I'm going to create you a shopping link, and I showed her how to basically add that to Instagram, to her Insta stories, and I told her to take that bag wherever she goes. Now, she has had over £300 worth of orders at the moment. That's where we're up to. We're up to £300 worth of orders. She's had my borrow bag for a week. She's taken it to 4 different people, which means it's gone to 4 different brand new customers. The customers of both, or 2 of the customers this weekend, have ordered well over £100 each. Now, they've both ordered warmers and their wax. She's now put the borrow bag on her story, tagged me in it, and said, would anyone like the borrow bag next? She's pretty much doing the job of a consultant. Now, what I now say to them is, if your order goes over a qualifying order, you get to keep the wall fan and the pods that are in the bag. I got them with my free credit, so it's an incentive for her to bring in some orders. Now, I've had borrow bags come back, and they've had no orders from their friends and family, but they've ordered wall fan diffusers. Definitely a focus product that you want to be selling, because you can't get those pods anywhere else. We're the only people that sell them. So make that a priority. Start thinking about, yeah, I want to be selling as many wall fans as possible. I think I've sold something like 7 wall fans in the last 2 months. It's crazy. And I haven't sold a wall fan for like 6 months prior to putting them in the borrow bag. Now, that borrow bag, for me, is a great way. Like anybody so the lady before that had the bag, brand new customer, she took it round to her sisters, and her and her sister both ordered, and then she took it to her neighbours. And I just tongue-in-cheek said to her, oh, Michelle, you're doing such an amazing job. You're pretty much doing a consultant's job. You know, you should just join. And that was the conversation I had. It was very tongue-in-cheek, little smiley emojis, and she was like, oh, no, she just ignored the question and was like, ha, 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 really funny. Now, she's on my list because I'm like, you know people. Like, clearly, you can get on orders. Straight away, this lady, Claire, I said, Claire, you've got £300 worth of orders. You've got a kit there. If you want the kit, you can have the kit for like 20 quid. Obviously, she wants to spend her credit on warmers, so I don't think she wants the kit. But it's opened up that conversation. So borrow bag parties are literally working really well for me. I've got 4 in circulation, which means I've got 4 big bags of testers. I like to have lots of bags of testers working for me. For me, They're your kit. They are your employees. They need to be working. You guys know, every person that's watching this right now, you know that the minute you smelt those testers, you wanted to buy Scentsy. That's why you're here right now. So you need to get those testers under people's noses, and then you can more than likely turn them into teamies. You can turn them into, you know, brand new customers. Ask for that referral. Do you want to pass the bag on to somebody else? So the lady that's got my bag at the minute, I've just said to her, I'm popping an order in tonight. Did you want to add anything to the order? She was like, yeah, I'll have these, please. And I said, oh, do you know anyone else that you want to give the bag to? It's got enough order forms in there. You can pass it on to somebody else. And she was like, oh, let me just have a think. I'll ask my cousin. So it's just about asking those questions. And that's a great way to, you know, build that relationship up with those customers, but also to build that customer base. And then what I do is, as those customers are ordering, when you go to their order history, it's got their name, their number, their address. I send them a text straight away. Thank you so much for your order. Oh my God, you've just added to Claire's party order. This is how much Claire's party order is. She's got £300 worth of orders, means she's got £35 worth of credit. How amazing is that? Now, Rachel, you've just had the bag. Do you want to try and do the same? I could set you up a party link as well. It literally is a process, okay? It literally is a process. So start thinking about how you could use a borrow bag to basically party on the go, party for you, take it into offices, you know, somewhere where potentially you could have 100 customers if there's 100 women working in an office. You know, put out to all your Facebook peoples, does anybody work in an office with lots of women in it? And just see who comes back. Now, if, let's say, for example, Nikki says, oh, yeah, I do. You could then message Nikki, right, Nikki, would you mind taking my borrow bag party into your office for me? I will help you be able to get free orders. Nikki will go, amazing, right, brilliant. Off she takes the bag. Now, a lot of my team say to me, that they really struggle to get someone to have the bag. I don't give people choices. When I turn up on their doorstep, I'm normally giving them an order. Oh, with your order, do you want to take the borrow bag as well? Try the smells. I think you're going to love them. And then I give them the bag. And then once they've got the bag in their home, I host coach them. I message them, say to them, look, have you got a friend that you want to pass it on to, or a family member? And that's when those questions come. Okay, so other ways that you can grow. Hopefully this is helping you with sponsoring and growing your team. So hopefully this is working. Using multiple platforms to grow your business is really, really important. Now, when I first started selling Scentsy, it literally was just my Facebook customer group. I never used to post on my personal page. I didn't have a business page set up. I didn't have an Instagram set up. Now I have a business page. I use my personal page. I use my closed customer group, which is my private customer group. And I also use my Instagram, and I use my Insta stories, and my Insta stories are linked to my Facebook stories. So there's a lot going on there, okay? Really a lot going on there. My kids have even said to me, Mummy, why don't you use Snapchat? And I'm a bit like, oh, I don't really know how to use that. I've even tried TikTok. But to grow your customer base, you want to be seen on multiple platforms. Now, I know it's challenging and it's difficult, and sometimes you just want to get your head around one platform at a time. That's how I did it. So I mastered Facebook group to start with. When I got Facebook group down to a fine art, I set up Facebook business page. And then what I did was made sure that there was different content going on both, so that you've got different people that are going to be viewing your content. Every now and again, I drip feed into my into my personal page as well. And again, it's remembering to ask people for referrals. Would anybody like to refer me? Would anybody like to try Scentsy? Are any of my friends Scentsy virgins? They're things that you need to not sort of worry about asking. And it doesn't matter whether you ask them, 5 times over the course of 6 days or 6 weeks or whatever, and no one replies back to you, because at some point there will be that one person that says, oh, I've never had Scentsy before, that sees it. And unfortunately, the algorithms of social media work in such a strange way, and it's hard to get the algorithms down, that you never really know who's seeing what and when. So for example, this week I started going through my customer group, and I started messaging all of my customers that are in my customer group. And because not all of them buy from me, I think there's something like 1,200 people in my customer group, and I've probably got 300 customers in that group. So I started going through my customer group and messaging people and saying to them, oh, like, hi Susan, how are you? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being part of my customer group. I'm just putting together some sample packs. Have you tried Scentsy before? And this Susan come back to me and said, oh, thanks so much, Lisa. I would love to. I've never had Scentsy before, but I've seen your posts. And it just shocked me how she must have been sitting in my customer group for 18 months. And she said, I've been seeing your posts, but she's never come forward and said, oh, I'd really like a sample pack, or I'd really like to try, or I'd really like to buy. So you have to remember that not everybody is seeing your posts, and not everybody's seeing them at the same time. And sometimes you need to be on multiple platforms, offering free samples, offering, Scentsy Virgins the opportunity to try your borrow bag, for example, or your party on the go. Really, really, really important. So just make sure that you're networking everywhere. Okay, Artie's getting in the bath. If you hear him crying, I'm just pre-warning you. Okay, networking groups. So I use a lot of groups on Facebook, and I think groups are a really great way of meeting new people. And there I use different groups. Like I'm in some mum groups, and I'm in some dog groups and all sorts. Now, I don't go in there and post Scentsy unless there's a time when they say, oh, you can post your business page today. Very unlikely. That doesn't happen very often. So what I do is I use these groups to network. So for example, I'm in a Cocker Spaniel group because I've got a dog that's a Cocker Spaniel. If you've seen him on my Facebook, he's a cute chap. So Dexter, his name is. I can hear him barking. Someone's at the door. And basically what I have done from there is, I'm pinpointing people, and sometimes I will spend 20 minutes networking. I write that into my day to spend 20 minutes networking in a group. And I go into this particular group and I look at the comments of the last 6 or 7 posts, and I'm looking for people that, one, are actually commenting on pictures that I'm genuinely interested in, but 2, I'm also looking for people that have interacted quite a lot on people's posts. And you will start to notice that, for example, the same people interact on the same posts. Now, then people are commenters, they're interactors, they're looking to interact with people. So what I then do is I interact with those people and I comment on their posts, or I search and see whether they've posted anything, and I will comment on their pictures. Sometimes I will agree with something that they've commented on. If somebody posts a picture of some really cute dogs, I'm like, oh my God, your dog is really cute. And then sometimes as that relationship builds, I will take that off Facebook, sometimes add them as a friend on Facebook. And when you feel confident enough, you can message people and just ask them directly if they've ever tried Scentsy, when the time is right. But I build that relationship with people. I don't just literally go into those groups and spam it all about Scentsy. 1, I'd probably get kicked out. 2, I like to build relationships with people. That is the most important thing for me. It's all about building those relationships. But think about some of the groups that you're in. Maybe think about, okay, where, what am I interested in? I am a massive Diet Coke fan. Do love a Diet Coke. So for example, am I in a Diet group, a Coke addicts group? No, probably not, but I probably could join one. I'm in a Cocker Spaniel group. I love my Peloton. I've got a Peloton and I work out, so I'm in Average Mum's Peloton group. I'm in various Peloton groups actually. So think about things that you love and that you like within your life, because it needs to be something that you love. Whether that's knitting or crocheting or tea or coffee or whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, but you've got to love it, because you need to be in that group, and it's easier to interact with people when they're in that group. Now, when you start to add those people as friends on Facebook, it's a little bit of a long game, this one. At some point on your personal page, you might advertise that you're a Scentsy consultant and looking for people to join your team. Okay? And then what happens is they might see that and they might be like, oh, I didn't realise you was a Scentsy consultant. What's Scentsy? And it might open up that conversation. With somebody, once you're becoming friends with them off of that group environment and you're messaging on Messenger, at some point you might ask them, oh, what do you do for a living? And they might say, oh, I'm a teacher. And then they naturally will say, oh, what do you do for a living? And you might say, oh, I'm a nurse, but I'm also a Sensi consultant. Oh, what's Sensi? And it naturally opens up that conversation. And again, they're either going to become a customer or a teamie, and you've got that opportunity to ask them. And I think it's really, really important as well. Like when you're meeting new people, there is a point, I think, where you find it a lot easier to ask someone to join. For me, it's right at the very beginning. Brand new person that, you know, maybe has bought from me once. It is easier for me to ask them to join my team right at the very, very beginning, because the more you get to know somebody and the more that relationship builds up, yes, sometimes that becomes a little bit easier because you feel like you've got more common ground with them. But sometimes you don't want them to think, oh, they've only become friends with me to ask me. Sometimes I just like to get that question over and done with, get it out of the way, ask them, and then carry on that relationship and carry on building that relationship. Okay, so let me tap in. So they're just some ideas for actually building your customer base. Let me just tap into sponsoring a little bit more, because I know that there are lots of you that are probably like, I've got some ideas how to grow my team, my customer base, but I've got no idea then how to actually make people want to become a team member. And I suppose that's the hard bit, because if you're continually growing those numbers and you're continually getting referrals, continually getting your borrow bag parties out there, continually using all these different platforms, hopefully you're going to have a bigger audience. So therefore, you're going to have more numbers to play with. So then, and it is a bit of a numbers game, I think, personally, asking people to join your team. I set myself a target every single month to ask a certain amount of people to join and to make sure it goes in conversation. And I literally have a little tally and I keep asking until I get the yes. I go for the no all the time. And I very much, I read Girl on Fire recently by Cara Orwell, can't remember what her surname is. It's a really good book. All about women in business and whatnot. And she talks about how the word no needs to be, hold on, I wrote it down. It was something about redirection. Hold on, let me just find. Oh, here she goes. She said, rejection is a crash course in self-reflection. And I thought, oh my God, that's so true. She said, every time you get a no, it's about how you deal with that no, but it's also about why they've said no. You know, what's the reasoning behind it? Was it the way you asked? Was it something that you know, did you ask the question in the wrong way? Or, you know, and what could I do differently next time that I ask somebody? And how many times have you asked someone to join and you thought, I asked that really badly and I didn't ask that very well? And it's making sure that every time someone says no, that you self-reflect on that and you sort of think, okay, why might they have said no? You know, even asking that person why. I think it's okay if someone says, oh no, I'm not really going to join your team. And you could say, well, why? Do you mind if I ask why? You know, how many times have you done that? I bet you don't ask why very many times. Because I am always intrigued to know what that answer is. So it's a bit of a numbers game. Something to consider is, how often do you post about the join opportunity? Feel free to be honest in the comments and say, how many times have you posted about someone joining your team this week? You know, that includes on every platform. So on your personal page, your business page, your Instagram, your stories, how many times have you posted about the join opportunity? Do people know that they can join your team? Because I've had it before and I remember feeling really rubbish about it when somebody said to me, I didn't actually know I could join your team. I just thought that, like, you already had a team and then that was that. So they joined somebody else. And I remember being like, oh my God, I can't believe that one of my really good customers has joined somebody else because I wasn't advertising enough. People need to see things 7 times before sometimes they say yes. So therefore, some of your customers might need to see the join opportunity glaring at them in 7 different ways over the course of a week before they say yes. So that's what I'm going to ask you. I want you to focus this week as a bit of a challenge for you, and I hope you don't mind me setting this as a challenge, Steph. I want you to focus on asking or putting it on your customer group, all your stories. You know, maybe customer group one day, stories the next, and alternate it for a whole week, every single day, a different way of asking someone to join your team. Whether it, and I'm going to give you some ideas of what sort of things you can put in your posts in a little while, but But people need to see it 7 times before they hit that join button. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do. And get in a habit of doing it so that you do it. Maybe over the next 2 weeks, we could spread it out a little bit more if you like, so it's not overkill. But different people, like I said before, will see it at different times. So that magic number is 7. They say that you need to see something. How many times have you seen something when you're scrolling Facebook and you see a top that you like and you're like, oh, I really like that top. You click on the website the first time. Then you come off of it and you're like, no, I need to get back to doing what I'm doing. The next time you're scrolling on Facebook, you see that top again. Oh, I do really like that top. So you click on that top and you go in and you put it in the basket this time. Then you come out of it. You don't actually check out. Maybe you end up having a bit of a scroll on the website. Then you come out because you get distracted. Then you're scrolling on Facebook another day. You see it again. Sometimes it can take you 7 attempts before you actually go and check out of your basket. I've done it so many times. I'm terrible for it. I'm like a squirrel. So I see shiny things and I'm like, oh, I'm off. So it's the same sort of thing with sponsoring. Sometimes somebody might be really thinking about it, but they might need to see that opportunity 7 times and to actually feel like you're speaking to them directly before they will actually say yes. So over the course of the week, I want you to think about putting up a join post every other day, a story every other day. Just alternate between the two. You use as many platforms as you can and put it out there as many times as you can. I also use a broadcast list, which is really, really handy. If you don't use these, then this tool is going to be like a game changer for you. So oh, sorry, hold on, I've gone off on a tangent. That's 7 places. Some of those places need to be public, okay? i.e. a business page, Instagram page, your own Facebook personal page, if that's public. If they're not public, when you create a join post on your personal page, there's like a little box at the top where you can schedule posts. Click on that and it will say, do you want to make this post public or do you want to make it private? Make it public. And the reason for that is because the whole of Facebook can then see that post, not just your friends. Because if you keep that post just in your customer group every single time, and let's say you've got 70 people in your customer group, the only people that are going to see that post are those 70 people in your customer group. So it needs to be on a much wider platform. You've got to be brave. You've got to be brave and put this out there to the world, okay? Okay, something else that I use to sponsor people, and this has worked, okay, is a broadcast list. So if you don't have a broadcast list, this is like another challenge for you. You're going to go away and you're going to get all of your customers' mobile phone numbers. When we had internet blackout, how many of you, if you wanted to, could still run your business through being able to text or email all of your customers? If the answer is no, then this is something that you really need to do. I got locked out of Facebook recently. I was in Facebook jail and Instagram jail. Not fun. And I basically had to set up a whole new Facebook. And I was like, oh my God, like I really rely on Facebook more than I realised. But I didn't for my customers. In the day that I was locked out, I still made 200 PRVs worth of orders. And I think I found a new teamie actually as well. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to get all their mobile numbers. You're going to ask them if they're on WhatsApp, and you're going to make sure that they save your number in a WhatsApp address book. You then go into your WhatsApp as if you were going to create a group, and there's a little thing there that says create broadcast list. Going to click on it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add all of your customers into that broadcast list, and you're going to call it customer list, VIP customer list, whatever you like. Now, what you're then going to do is you're going to test it and send to your customers and say, can you just send me a little heart emoji to let me know that you've received this message? And hopefully it will send to all your customers and they will all come back and say that they received it. The broadcast will only send a WhatsApp to them one-to-one. So it's not going to be like a group message. You're not going to be getting loads of pings and loads of notifications. I have got 167 customers on my broadcast. Now, when you want to send out a message, like for example, say you're selling mystery bags, you can now send mystery bags out to 160 people in one hit with one message. That's working smarter, not harder for you, okay? Make your life simple. You can swipe it to the left, I believe, and it will tell you who it's delivered to and who it's not as well, so you can check that out. But I love a broadcast list. Now, I use this for sponsoring a lot. Whenever I've got a host join kit available, So I place orders in £245 parties. So every time I get to 245, I start a new party, and I get to 245, I start a new party. So that's like, could be up to 5 parties a month. And the reason for doing that is because I potentially have got 5 kits there that I could sign somebody up on for £25. I use the host join kit a lot, like a lot. The host join kit is literally my best friend, and it's how I've sponsored 85 Frontline. Simple as that. So what I send out on my broadcast list is something along these lines. So it goes, hi hun. So first of all, it sounds like it's going directly to them, inbox to my customer. They think it's direct to them. I hope you're well, babe. I was wondering if you know anybody that would be interested in signing up as a Scentsy consultant. I've got a kit for £20. Someone can sign up today for £20. What else do I normally put? If you refer somebody, then and they sign up and they place an order, I will give you a free mini warmer. Do you know anyone that might be interested, or maybe even you? I think you would be a great Scentsy consultant. Something along those lines. I send that to everybody, and then I wait. And normally within 24 hours, someone comes back and says, my daughter would love to sign up, my friend would love to sign up, or do it for 20 quid. So that's normally the conversation that goes on, and I use that broadcast list. And I use the customer, the host party. Right, I'm just going to put a phone charger in, guys. Hopefully I won't lose you. And I use the host kit all the time. As soon as you've got that £245 party, you can sign somebody up for, what is it, 26 quid or whatever. You know, I try not to give them away for free. I have done them for free before when I've had like a bigger order of £500. But I do tend to find that the people that sign up for free don't do as much. So that's just something to think about. Okay, so there you've got a referral to join there, and you've got your WhatsApp broadcast. I love my broadcast. I use it for everything. Me too, Vicky. Okay, a couple more tips and then I'm nearly done. Okay, attraction marketing for that one person. When you're creating these join posts that I want you to do over the next 7 days, I want you to think about that one person that you really want to join. Have you written a dream team list? Have you got a list of people, you know, those customers that you've got that you think would be brilliant team members? So I'm calling her a team member. She's not even a teamie. My customer Claire, who's got my borrow bag. I went live in my group the other week and I talked about joining. And one of the reasons that she'd said no for before was that she was like, oh, do you know what? A lot of my friends have got consultants. So I thought about that and I made sure that I was speaking directly to her when I talked about the join opportunity. And I said, right, here's something I want you to think about. I don't want you to think about the fact that there's too many consultants. Let me tell you about all the people that are around me, all of my team that are around me, and they're all smashing their business. So I thought of a scenario where she's already said no, and then I use that to create the opposite join attraction marketing live. And you could do this in your posts. For example, say somebody's a nurse and you're like, right, I really want that nurse to sign up. That nurse Kate is just brilliant. She would be amazing. So you could create a post. Are you, for example, in the healthcare professionalism? Maybe you'd like to have a little side hustle on the side that would work hand in hand whilst you're at work at the hospital. This would work amazing for you. And then you could list how it could work for somebody that's in that particular profession. You know, are you a teacher? I think my best consultants are teachers because they're confident, they're innovative, they've got ideas. I'm a teacher. I attract teachers. I'm just like, you know, all of those things, but it's so true. So, you know, it might well be that I create a post that's directly related to that particular teacher that I would love to join. Are you a teacher? I think that teachers make the most incredible Scentsy consultants, and then list the reasons why. So use your join posts that you're going to create to really speak to individuals. Don't make them very blanket and, oh, here's the kit. Think about that individual that you really want to join your team and speak to that person. Speak to that person one-to-one through your message. Now, it may well be that that person doesn't join, but it may well be that you're speaking to another nurse that's out there that's like, oh, I really felt like you were talking to me in that post. And it works. It really, really works. Something you could do in here, guys, is, you know, on this particular thread, tell me what like your job is outside of Scentsy, because I did this with my team group the other week, and the amount of different occupations that were listed were amazing. And I've used that to create a join post. I'm like, oh my God, look at all these different occupations. These are all Scentsy consultants. So that type of thing as well really, really works well. Like, you know, using real life testimonials from you guys. You know, I'm a teacher, but I'm now selling Scentsy alongside it. I absolutely love it. It fits in my pockets of time. So Debbie Reed, for example, is watching, and so is Vicky. Why don't you guys create a testimonial and share that with your customers, or swap testimonials in here? And you could use those as join posts, like Debbie joined Scentsy because, you know, Debbie's job is, Debbie loves Scentsy because it has changed Debbie's life, because look what it's done for her. And that might actually ring really true with some of your customers. You can share them in your customer groups. Oh, there you go. I didn't know you was a dental nurse, Steph. Nick Wilson was a dental nurse. Did you know that? So it could be that, like, you know, just by creating that join post out to other dental nurses might draw them in. So, you know, that again in itself, when I see everybody's occupations, I was like, oh my God, like some people had some really incredible occupations as well. It made me want to go to work with them. I was like, can I come to work with you for the day, please? One of the girls in my team is a forensic scientist. And I was like, I'd like to come to work with you for the day, please. Okay, so make that post so it's directly related to them. Okay, directly related to them. Okay, don't forget to advertise all the different types of kit. The fact that, you know, you can get a free kit. How do you get a free kit? Collect your orders. You know, your £85 kit. This is, look how amazing this kit is. And obviously your host join kit as well. Don't forget to show pictures of them and show what they all look like. It's okay to do that once in a while to mix up your posts a little bit. Don't assume that everybody's going to say no. Some of my most unsuspecting people, Nicola Wilson, for example, one of my directors, I never knew for a million years that she would ever sign up to selling Scentsy. And we knew each other for, how long did we know each other for? I think that we knew each other for about 8 years, and we'd never really spoken in the playground. Maybe once or twice we'd spoken. She was on the food committee, which is like our school committee. We had no relationship whatsoever. I went to a party, and whilst I was at the party, she then let it slip that she used to sell Ann Summers. And I was like, oh my God, never would have guessed that you would have ever sold Ann Summers. Anyway, we got chatting and we got laughing. She bought from me 2 more times. Nick was the person that watched me unboxing all my goodies that I got for free with my sensational start. And she wanted to join. And I'm not in a million years would have I ever imagined that Nick would have been a Scentsy consultant. I always say to her she was one of my biggest surprises, but also one of my biggest rock stars. She hit director really, really quickly, grew a team really quickly, and absolutely smashed her Scentsy business, and still is now. So don't assume that people will say no. Like if I had to write a list of people that would have said no, Nicola Wilson would have been on that list 100%. You know, don't look at people and think, oh, they've got loads of money, they don't need to join Scentsy. You know, everyone's got different reasons as to why they want to sign up, and it's just finding out what Scentsy could do for them. And I think more than anything, it's about making it about them and not about you. And that's something that I try really hard to do, that when I'm doing my posts or when I'm talking to people that potentially could be amazing consultants, I'm like, look, this is what it could do for you. As soon as you start saying, join my team, and using those words, join my team, I think those words are really icky. Because I think it becomes all about me. As soon as I go, why don't you join my team? It sounds like it's benefiting me. I don't want it to benefit me. It's about, what can I do for you? Like, how can I change your life? Look at what Scensy's done for mine. You know, I've managed to retire from teaching. So what can it do for you? And then my last point that I'm going to leave you with, and then feel free to put any questions as well in the, if you've got any questions for me, put them in the chat. And one of my main things really for you all is to believe that you can grow your customer base and believe that you can sponsor. If you literally wake up tomorrow and you're like, I can't sponsor, I'm rubbish at sponsoring, I'm really rubbish at growing my customer base, no one wants to join me, and that is your vibe that you're putting out, the universe will not give you new teamies. Okay, I am a really big believer in manifesting, and I'm being grateful that I bought myself a new gratitude diary recently, and this was one of my purchases while I had COVID. It's really cute, and it just gives you like an opportunity to write down things that you're grateful for. And I am really big on now sort of thinking about like, what I actually want to attract to my business, and the fact that I can sponsor somebody. And sometimes I will sit down and be like, I'm going to sponsor a teamie today. And it may well be that I decide that I'm not leaving the chair in my kitchen until I've found somebody to come and join my team. And I literally go back through all old messages. I use my messenger because you can search for like join Sensi, for example, in Messenger. And it will bring up all the people you've ever had a conversation with. And you can revisit those conversations and follow up with those people. That's a really good tip, actually. And sometimes I just make that decision that I'm not leaving here till I've got a teamie. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a teamie today. And I talk to the universe and I tell the universe that I'm going to have a teamie. And it will happen. And I sound absolutely crackers saying that. But you've got to believe that you can sponsor. You've got to believe that you create good join posts. You've got to believe that you can meet new customers. You've got to believe that you can network. And when you start believing in those things yourself, the sponsoring and all the rest of it will just come naturally, because you will start to attract those people. You will start to attract that positivity around you. So start believing that you can sponsor. Put those rose tinted glasses, those sponsoring glasses on, and make it happen. So has anyone got any questions? I'm hoping that this has sort of ticked the boxes you wanted it to. Steph, I don't really feel like I've talked loads about sponsoring, more about growing your customer base. But I think there's some tips there and some things that might work for you guys. Obviously, I'll stick around for a bit and answer any questions that you've got. I will share a picture of my borrow bag. Let me write that down because I'll probably forget. I've got a brain like a sieve at the moment. Borrow bag pic. Have you got any other questions? Maybe not. I love training, honestly. I've got as well, if it helps, you're welcome to share it in here, Steph. On my YouTube, Tam and I did a Build Your Dream Team Academy. And there is 10 very short 20-minute videos which have each got a challenge attached to them. And you could maybe do them together as a group. They're really, really short, and they're literally things like exactly like what we've talked about today. How do you keep track of what you're posting where? Do you know what, Debbie? I don't necessarily. I just scroll back and I'm like, or you could make yourself like a little social media calendar. I'm not very organised, okay? My whole life runs out of this book, and my whole Sensi life literally runs out of this book. This is like my notebook, and it's got all my ideas and everything in. So what I would recommend is, if you're somebody that's really organised, print yourself off a calendar and then just write on the calendar like where you want to post, where you want to advertise, where you're advertising your join opportunity. Then literally have it on a little blank calendar and stick that up. You can call it a social media calendar if you like. And actually it's probably a really good idea to do that, and then at least you can tick it off as you go and be like, right, I've posted on my business page today, I've posted on here. I have a business page and a private group. I only post on my private group because I don't want to post. Yeah, so I tried, Debbie, to try and print. I tried to post different content, but what a really good tip is, you go back in, say for example, you want to post something different on your business page. If you go into your customer group and you search, I don't know, cream diamond, for example, and find an old post, you can literally search by date. And if you've been a consultant for like a year, you could go right back to January, for example, and post something on your business page that you posted back in January in your customer group. So you can recycle posts. That works really, really well for me. I use it for my team group, and I use it for my business page. I mean, I go back to like 2018 and I'm looking at posts that I wrote and I'm like, oh my God, that was really good, Lisa. And I just copy and paste it, tweak it slightly, maybe add a more up-to-date image. So that works really, really well. So recycle, work smarter, not harder. Use the search function in your group. And as well, like you've got this group here. If you've got posts that maybe work really well, you could have like a thread in here that's like join post ideas, or maybe like sales post ideas that have worked really well. Quite often in my team group, I try and sort of ask people to share like posts word for word that work really well. And I say to people, don't just copy the whole post, like obviously copy and paste it into your group and then tweak it slightly so it's not exactly the same, but just to give people inspiration and give people ideas. So that, I mean, I know that one of the other SSDs, she's got like a group set up that is just for content posting ideas. My only worry, obviously, always with that is try not to copy and paste the same ideas. You're going to grab me back for more training? Yeah, anytime, anytime, anytime. Some great tips. Plenty to work from. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm really glad. Yeah, check out my Dream Team Academy training. I think you'll really like it. If you want to go deeper into sponsoring. And I think I also did sponsoring, I think, on United We Rise, although I was really, really nervous on there. So, as well, I absolutely love the Aha Moments group. And that is brilliant for like sponsoring videos. You can go back in there and search for sponsoring videos, and I use that group a lot. I go in there and I use it a lot. So as well, just one of my team has actually just messaged me about this. If you haven't, download AMI, and use that app as well, because that is a really good way of, it will say to you, have you reached out to this person and asked them to join your team? And that's really good for giving you a nudge sometimes for people that you wouldn't have necessarily thought about joining. So that's a really good good tip as well. But anyway, my inbox is open. You're always welcome to ask me any ideas at all. Honestly, you're very welcome to ask here. And yeah, and I hope you're all well, and thank you so much for having me, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye guys.